Call the airlines. I'm sending your ass home. That's what he said to me after some type of argument we had. I don't even remember. We were in the Bahamas on a beautiful, extravagant vacation. I should have probably listened to my dad who said, Kathie, don't go on this trip. You haven't been dating the guy long enough. I don't think you should go, but you're a grown woman. Go ahead. Yeah, because this trip to the Bahamas was the very first trip I took with Kenny. I was young and having fun and just started dating, so I was in infatuation big time. Hey, Kathie Owen here, certified fitness trainer and mindset coach since 2002, teaching others how to transform their lives in magic fashion using Stop the Mind Screw process. If it costs you your peace, it costs you too much. Let's get into the video. When he said this, I immediately went into repair mode. I was like, what can I do to make this better? What is wrong? What did I do to make this so bad? To make him send me home from a wonderful trip and only a few days into it. This became a pattern. Every single trip I took with this man, he threatened to send me home every time. I don't know what I was doing to trigger it at the time. And I had been on very many trips with the man. He obsessively loves to travel. But to this day, I'm still triggered by traveling. So I don't like to travel because every trip I ever took with him, he threatened to send me home over a fight. And I had to learn why this was happening. I didn't learn it till probably 20 years later. Abandonment. That's what it had to do with. You see, a narcissist's favorite weapon is abandonment. Why? Because they know abandonment. They know what it feels like. Perhaps as a child, they were seriously abandoned. And abandonment is their weapon of choice. Me, on the other hand, I grew up in a great home, a great family. I had a great childhood, but I learned two very important things when I was growing up that were my defense mechanisms and what triggered him. If I wanted to be truly happy, I learned number one, I had to take care of myself. And I also, number two, had to think for myself. This made me very independent. What does an independent person do to the narcissist? They trigger their abandonment. Because subconsciously, I would release, I don't need you emotions, especially when a fight came, which was almost all the time. These independent vibes I was sending were very triggering for the narcissist because the narcissist is like, oh, she doesn't need me. I'm going to trigger her abandonment issues like you would not believe. And this happened to me hundreds of thousands of times and led me to stop the mind screw process. Because if it disturbs your peace, it costs too much. Today, I apply this to every single problem, big or small. And it starts with step number one. What do you want? Get very, very clear on what you want. In detail, write it down and lay out the whole process. Number two, go on a mental diet. Become aware of the thoughts you are thinking, for that's where your power lies. You will also identify limiting beliefs that hold you back in this problem. So a mental diet is an awesome tool in your toolbox. And the reason why I created my free resource guide, link in the description below or on the screen right here, because this guide will lead you what a mental diet is all about and how it can help you and stop the mind screw process. Number three, evaluate your self-talk. We talk to ourselves more than we talk to anybody else in the world. So if we're talking to ourselves, we've got to evaluate that self-talk and rewrite it in a more powerful fashion, which is step number 5 we'll get to in just a minute. Step number 4 is your habits. Analyze your habits. Get into the habit of a mental diet, which becomes a lifestyle eventually. And you also become aware of your habits that empower you. Morning routines, afternoon routines, evening routines. When we are stressed out, our habits are what can bring you back into power. That is it. It is that simple. And it blows my mind how many people do not establish their routines as something to fall back on when things go crazy. Because it's not if you're going to have a problem, it is when. You might as well have a method to solve that. Number 5, revision and healing. You've got to heal from the traumas that have hit you. You've got to go through the stages of grief. And I also have a process on healing in Stop the Mind Screw. But revision is also super duper important. You can revise things that have happened in your life or things that are going on right now and shift the way people are interacting with you, because they will pick up on it subconsciously and you will admit it subconsciously, and it becomes a lot more powerful than playing victim. The victim-victimizer situation goes on and on. It's an endless cycle. I talk about it all the time, and I'm probably going to do a video on it very soon in the near future, because it's one of the most powerful concepts I learned from my therapist, Sherry. It's her method of psychology. But I'll put the picture here so you can see the victim-victimizer cycle, and the way to get out of that is stop mind screwing yourself and enter victor. Number 6, you get into flow. You determine the quality of your life by what's going on in your mind. When you do the steps of Stop the Mind Screw, you actually determine the quality of your life, which, as Mihai Csikszentmihalyi says in the book Flow, he says that the closest thing we can come to determining the quality of our life and our happiness is to control your inner experience. Stop mind screwing your. It's simple, but not easy. That's where my guidance and coaching comes in handy. And I produce this content all the time so you can see and learn more about this and how it can help you. Be sure to take the first steps and download the free resource guide on mental diets and how they can help you. And also, you'll go on a little email journey with me on how I came up with this process, as well as how a mental diet can become a lifestyle. All right, that's my video for today. I hope you liked it. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. Share it with somebody who can benefit from this. And until next time, I'll see you next time. Peace out and namaste. If I wanted to be truly happy, I learned number 1. The man, he obsessively loves to travel.